Hello and welcome to Zona Restorations. We have an 8 series that has been in hibernation and we have a toolbox here. So before I get into the toolbox tour, I just wanted to update you guys on what's happening with the 8 series. So recently, the past week or so, the video has been really shooting up and I'm pretty surprised to see that I now have about 150 subscribers, which is crazy. Was not expecting that out of nowhere. And I'm waiting on a part. So the 8 series is just sitting outside and it has been for a couple, about a month and a half, going on 2 months. And I can't really make a video, so I'm just gonna update you guys and fill you in on what's going down. So the last video I had, we were having troubles putting the transmission in, and I did end up getting the transmission in. I started swapping everything over, and we're at a point where we need a custom drive shaft built, and that has been taking a while, a lot longer than expected. And due to that, I haven't put in any more money into the car because I want to make sure that it drives and everything. I do have to get a few new things. Once the drive shaft's in, I'll definitely be putting her together and hopefully she drives and stuff. But that's where that's going. So I figured on the intro to all the new people here to have some content, we're gonna take a look into my toolbox because I love toolbox tours and I can't get enough of them, so I figured I'd do my own. As you can see, she's a US General and I have a little Craftsman top box. I love the US General 56-inch double bank that I have. It's the first tool that we see, so I'm gonna review it right now. I've got my E34 M5 badge on the front. A must, one of the coolest badges because they're like flat and they're big, unlike the E39s where they're all kind of the same, interchangeable, and they are a lot smaller and curved and everything. But the box, I've had this for about a year. It is my first actual toolbox. I do have another roll cart over there, which I will show you, that I did get before this one. But I liked blue. I was looking for blue for a while. I will say, the help that we got to get this thing into the back of my friend's trailer was not professional help. So she almost went overboard. It was a little bit of a mess, but me and my friend, we got it safely here to the shop. I'm very, very proud of my box. I like keeping it clean and I love the blue. Blue really looks nice. I was debating on black or just going the standard red, but I'm very glad I chose blue. It matches the BMW color as I have my flag, and it's one hell of a color. It's a really, really nice blue. Let me see one of these. So it's enough space, it's a good amount of space. I don't get annoyed at the tabs. A lot of people say that they really don't like the tabs. I actually kind of like it a lot. You know that it's latched in when you hear the click. It's one fear I have with upgrading to something like an Icon box. They don't have the tabs, which is nice, you get to pull them out at any place. But I do like knowing that they're perfectly closed because sometimes I close this drawer and it's like that, but because I didn't hear the click, I know to press it in a little bit more. It just helps keep the slides, in working condition for a long period of time. This top box is a Craftsman. It's pretty old. It says Sears on it, and this is just temporary. I'm thinking of adding a US General top box. The one that's like, I don't know how many inches, it's like 2 feet or something, 24, to that side, and then maybe adding a cab over here, because I do want to upgrade. I think it would be cool, but at the same time, I don't really need to. I don't have that many tools yet, and the main reason why I would want to upgrade is to get rid of my roll cart, which has all my hardware stuff in it. So I'd be just replacing this out for something that matches and then adding all my hardware to the side. And that's what I think is going on with the box. So let's get into the tools, shall we? Starting from the right side of the box, we have gloves, glove holder, magnetic to the chemical cabinet. I like it. I have everything right here. We have this Harbor Freight oil funnel. It works well. You got 2 caps to keep the oil in it, and it has a bunch of different adapters for different, BMW, Volkswagen, Ford, GM, all your standards. It doesn't have everything like the new BMW style, very new style, doesn't have, and it has a bunch of adapters though. I'll show you guys those in the later parts of the video. Right here we have, right now, just an empty holder. We have my copper anti-seize. I just moved around some of my chemical stuff, so my brake clean used to be right here, and now I don't really know what's going in there. Some of my gloves are in there right now. Behind that, I have mounted my Streamlight dual switch. I thought the dual switch option would be really cool. It would be different from everyone else's Streamlight that's in the shop. It's black. I love black tools, even if they get scuffed up. This one's pretty bright. It has different modes, which it comes in handy a lot. I didn't buy the really bright one because you don't really need it in the automotive industry. We have a piggyback holder, spare battery, very useful. If one battery dies, go to the next. I only have that as a flashlight. I had the Braun for a while. It works very well, but the design of it was weak in the center where it the hinge, and that just broke right off. I had a gear wrench just like it, worked very well. Right here we have some Harbor Freight Allen T-handles. Sometimes it's easier to use those, so I picked them up. Keeping those right here utilizes the space that would normally be unused, and they're very awkward to put inside of a toolbox. That was the one thing with buying them that I didn't really know what was going to happen. Like, this is just a terrible tool design for storage. Next, we have my Bauer blower fan. This thing is actually ridiculous. It is so on high, you can be across the shop, probably like 25 feet away or 30 feet away, and still feel the air as it would be like on a low fan speed. But the low is really powerful, and this thing is crazy. It's nice during the summer. I bring it out and I angle it wherever I need. It does stay on top of the box though. I don't bring it around. I don't use it on the floors. It would be nice to get more fan situation in this bay, because I don't like having the big fans running. They're near me, they're really loud, and they take up space. So I like having my Bauer here. I wish I had like a cool Bauer logo on the front. There's one downfall of this. On the side of the Bauer, I have my phone charger. It has 2 plugs, which is very nice for them to add. That was kind of the selling point for me, is because I knew that this thing was always going to stay on top of my box, and I don't like to have random extension cords or power strips on the box. So just plugging that in gives me all I need. I don't ever use my box as an extension cord, ever. I mean, this is all what gets plugged in here. Right now we have a thing that needs warranty. I usually put my warranty and my battery for my Streamlight on here so it doesn't just keep blinking, which I'm going to do right now because it just charged anyways. So that's where I keep my battery. I just have it resting on this little stamper because the angle, that is actually a flaw of this thing, is the angle. You can't really do, like when it's flat, it is flat. There's no way you're gonna get that air to you. So I have this and it blows up. It doesn't have the widest span of airflow, which is one downfall to this style of fan, but it shoots very far. So you just have to be in the zone for that. All right, so now we have the computer, which has the famed blue 8 series on it, 850 CSI. Such a gorgeous car. One of the best photos of any 8 series on this Canyon in that color. Those wheels driving straight at you. Gorgeous photo. I love that photo. This computer does okay. I do want to get speakers for it because you really can't hear anything even when it's silent, like right now in the shop. This thing is impossible to hear if you're watching a YouTube video, so I just usually use my phone, but I do really like using a computer a lot of times. Moving on up, we have the top of the box, which I know you guys love it. This is basically, apart from the interior color, a replica of my car. It's black with the same wheels that it had from factory, and I still have those wheels. They will be the snow tires, I believe. Sadly, it's not a 6-speed, but mine came automatic. This thing is so cute. My boss gave it to me. That was a very nice gift. This one has a lot less problems than mine does. On top of the box, on these rails, I keep my hood prop. Very nifty tool. If you don't have one, get one. We have a shop opener for the garage doors. A birthday card that is very cute with the olives. I like the olives. That's why it stays there. It matches the vibe. I keep my wallet here and my keys. We have a coin jar on this side, a battery, cleaner tool, just your standard stuff. We got a metal ruler holding the thing up because it doesn't have any struts. On the left side, I keep miscellaneous adapters and socket rail holders for different sizes. I put miscellaneous things like my beanie here. I have a Snap-on logo that I just got but goes nowhere. Alright, so first real tool to show. Pittsburgh dial indicator with flex stand and clamp. It's a very cheap tool. I think they're $20 less, give or take, and it gets you by. I would say this thing is really good for if you have to get one, like if you're taking a state inspection, which is what I did. Why I bought this thing was because I was trying to pass my state inspection last week and wanted to have a tool just in case if no one else had theirs or if something was broken. At least I know I have mine here. It does get you by. It is not going to last forever. That's the reality. It's not the most accurate thing. It's kind of flimsy. This whole mechanism is very difficult to get tight if you have any sort of curve on it, but totally worth the money to get you by. I love Harbor Freight. Some of their things are absolutely junk. Some things are mediocre and some things are great. This is kind of mediocre. It will get you by, but definitely worth the money, especially if you are looking to do a state inspection test or anything where you're going to need that. It's better to have your own than have to use someone else's, and that's what I believe on basically everything, especially stuff that's more specialty, in that everyone has a 13mm 3/8 socket, but not necessarily everyone's going to have this to borrow if someone else's breaks. We have assortment of paint markers, pens, highlighters. These paint markers suck. The Sharpie, they are pretty trash. They take absolutely forever to get started. Do not recommend buying these, but I'm stuck with them. I have a bunch of them in different colors. That is the benefit. They're kind of cheap, I guess, and you can find them everywhere. We have a Snap-on, I forget what brand it is, CRKT knife. I had this death knife. I really wish I could show you guys. I had this death knife that was really unsafe. It was falling apart. It was the dullest thing in the world. It was hilarious. But I finally bought a knife It was $70. I would say it's definitely $70 well worth not losing a finger on. So we've got a really terrible Pittsburgh measuring tape. I don't have anything to measure metric, and I hate the fractional system. The imperial system, it's kind of trash, and a lot of times you have to convert it anyways. So I want to get a metric and a fractional tape measure and rulers, and probably yardstick at some point. But measuring devices, they're important because the whole point of measuring is to make sure you're accurate, and this end is not accurate. All right. Moving on inside to the left. This thing is pretty boring, by the way, but we're going through it. I have my rags, my cleaning cloths, like cleaning cloths, not like red rags or anything. Those stay in there. Don't have much use for this drawer, but I want to have a little spot to where I can keep a clean cloth. So that's where they go. They're in that drawer. Middle drawer is miscellaneous stickers. I love this sticker, Snap-on 100 year. Ratchet, Band-Aid, earplugs, miscellaneous staples, E39 M5 badge without the 5, or E46 M3 badge without the 3. Yeah, random stickers, kind of a useless drawer. Right here we have my very, very limp electrical drawer. This is probably the saddest electrical drawer you've ever seen. And I know. It has some wire. It has a soldering holder, another battery terminal cleaner, and some jumper leads and some shrink tubing. I don't have like any electrical tools yet. It's another system. I like going through things by systems as much as possible. Get everything for like wheels and tires, which I just started getting stuff for that. Go by systems, like get a whole bunch of sockets, whole bunch of ratchets, whole bunch of extensions, get a whole bunch of air tools, get a whole bunch of pliers, kind of go drawer at a time. And I've not conquered this yet because everything is very expensive. Next thing I will be getting is soldering gun, because that's cheap and I need it badly. I do a lot of soldering. This drawer is kind of PPE, but it's again a very sad drawer. We have just gloves for outside. We have two like junk safety glasses. They're all right, but they're not like anything. They're like $2 each probably. And then here we have my actual safety glasses. These are from Mac. I bought them from Mac. Don't know what brand they are. Tinted, not rated for welding, but rated for your torches and stuff. Use these today. They slide on and off really well. I like them. One feature about these glasses is they have actually a gap in the top, which sounds really bad, but when you're doing torches indoors, it kind of makes sense because you can look and then you can see through the top versus having to flip them up or take them off, because I don't have flip ups obviously. So they work pretty nice. Then here we have the Snap-on. These are like 18 bucks. These are very nice safety glasses. So worth the investment to have good safety glasses. These are all right, but there's even worse safety glasses out there. There's like a set that we have that are really bad, and you just get stuff in your eyes. It's not worth it at all. Get a pair of safety glasses that fit you, and PPE is number one. I really try and be as safe as possible. These are rigid. They don't slide off your face at all. These slide off your face, even though they fit pretty well because there's no grip there, and they're gonna last me a while. I really recommend those Snap-on ones. So in here's the rest of my inspection stuff. The dial indicator does not fit in this drawer. That's why it's not in this drawer. And it's like the pavement for my 8 series to go on. In here we have a Laser Labs tint meter, the Enforcer. This thing is quick, it is easy. You just take your window, basically, and it triggers on the thing. And it keeps its battery life for a long time. I forget what the running time is on these batteries, but it's like 3 hours, which is crazy because all you do is stick the thing in there and then take it off. You see the reading in about a second. So you never are using the battery life on this. It comes in a very nice pouch. Has your calibration meters or bars of tint in there. A very good tool. The downside of this tool is you can't put it on windshields or anything that doesn't roll down because it does have to go slotting on top of the glass. So you would have to get a double like tint meters that have like the two sides to measure that. We have 2 different tire tread depth gauges. I have in here just a quick note on some state inspection stuff. Then we've got a Pittsburgh long reach digital caliper for rotors. These are very important because they have like they have like pinchers so that you're going around the rotor lip, which is how you're supposed to measure it. This works okay. This is a very cheap tool, under $10 I think. I was expecting it to be more. It's very cheaply made, but again, it will get you by. It's only meant for measurements that don't need to be extremely accurate. And then in here we have my folder for the state inspection laws for the state. And I have all my tabs, making sure that I have all the rules there when I need them. In this bottom drawer, it's a paper drawer, a note drawer, miscellaneous tool pliers, all that good stuff. So that's it with the top box. I would like to get the blue one. I will have more functionality if I get a bigger one because I can take, you know, more things, combine them in the drawers, move stuff around, and it looks nicer. But this thing works fine for now. For all the small stuff that I want out of the box, I had like 2 drawers for like papers and miscellaneous other things like the wires, and it just sucks because you're basically getting rid of a full drawer and it's just a waste of space. So having a top box, just a small top box, I don't like the big top boxes because you can't really get your tools in there very nicely and it doesn't look that great. You don't have any desk space that's clean. I really like a small top box to keep all the small miscellaneous things that don't really fit in a toolbox too well. So let's get on to the best drawer. The mighty socket drawer. Probably my favorite drawer. Or second favorite, or third favorite, I don't know. All right, let's get right into this thing. We got the Pittsburgh Deeps over here. These are great sockets, but the set skips 16 and 18, and that's also true for these swivels. So I can't really recommend the sets because you're gonna need to buy them. You're gonna need 16, 18 all the time. Not worth to buy. It's worth to buy like $10 more and get something else. Like Sunex. These are the Sunex e-Torques. They work really well. They're sharp. Sunex does a great job. They have a great line of tools. You can find them online. Really nice. We have the Icon shallows right here. These shallows and every other Icon socket I've had has been really nice. I recommend their wrenches are probably the best. Then their sockets, then their ratchets. Really nice. The rest of the stuff is kind of personal preference. I'll get to that later. We have 2 half-inch universal joints, chrome and impact. Another Icon set. These look like Snap-on. They are the half-inch drive, metric. All my stuff is basically metric. Allen's. It goes down to 6, which is really nice because you can use this for rotors. Use it for the impact driver. We have the universal, or not the universal, the impact joint. They work well, like the springs don't really come undone, but they just skip sizes, so it's hard to really recommend them. We have the Icon Ball Hex 3/8, and it has some 1/4 inch too. They're nice, work well for what they're used for. This is probably my least favorite socket set I have. These Husky 3/8 Allens. They round out fasteners. That's why I have this snap-on 6mm in there, because the clutches on the BMWs, they always round out the aluminum bolts, and it sucks. I don't recommend buying the Husky. It came in this big case with like Torx bits, which are right here, and other stuff, and it's like, yeah, you get a lot of tool for the money, but you're not getting much tool in the tool itself. All right, so here we have some semi-deep 3/8 SK chromes. Very beautiful socket, but I don't find myself using it very much because the deeps just work fine for most applications. Here we have the Icon 3/8 swivels. These are very nice. They go around, they don't bind, unlike some others. They don't bind, but they're really shallow. So you need a deep set if you're gonna buy these, because you can't really get on nuts all the time when the bolt is sticking in the middle. They're really shallow, and that does have their benefit, but also has their downfall to where they can't always fit everything. That's what I was surprised when I bought these, of how shallow the actual socket is sometimes. Here we have in 3/8. This is all snap-on 3/8, T55 down to T27, and then T30 down to T8. The T30 is a necessity for BMW in 1/4 inch. You need it in 1/4 inch. You don't necessarily need it in 3/8, but in 1/4 inch you do, to get into tight spots. It's so worth it. All right, here we have kind of a cringe set. One that I need to replace sooner rather than later is the Pittsburgh colored 1/4 inch drive deeps. I still have these. They're some of the first sockets I ever bought at the freight. Didn't really know what I needed, but I knew I needed those. Here we have another necessity that you're gonna have to buy if you work on BMWs, is an E10 1/4 inch. Snap-on, something good quality. You can't have it cheap quality. The reason why I have that is you put it on your swivel and you can get your valve covers, bolts a lot easier than a 3/8 drive or some other concoction. You need it short, by the way, not deep. Here we have the Icon chromes 1/4 inch. I've used this 8, but I recently got this contraption, which is an 810 flip socket for the panels. They're 8s, or they have 10 nuts, which they usually only have like 1 or 2 10mm nuts. And that goes on a Pittsburgh wobble socket. That fits in there nice. You can just flip it around. It's 12 points, so sometimes on really rusted stuff, you do have to go back to your old 8mm. Here we have Pittsburgh universal joint. We have a snap-on 1/4 inch drive impact swivel thing. This is really nice. I really like this one. It works very well. It's tight. It's solid. It does its job, unlike the 3/8. Here we have a specialty socket that you can make if you ever find yourself running into this situation, which I did one time. So on E32s, E31s, 8 series, 7 series, 5 series, probably 3 series, you're going to find this gear. This gear is in the sunroof or the moonroof because you can't see through them. Those a lot of the time get stuck, especially on 8 series where people park a car, things tilt it up for air ventilation, and then 5 years goes by, it doesn't work again. So this gear is welded onto a Pittsburgh 1/4 inch socket because you can take out the motor and put this gear in there and do it by hand without the Allen. There's like a 5mm Allen that you stick in to turn the thing, to turn the mechanism to move the sunroof. But one time it was stripped out, so we were like, okay, what are we gonna do? Welded this thing on, and I have that socket. It is nice because on my 8 series I had to use it, or use the 5mm, which did end up working, but I tried this first actually because I didn't want to risk stripping it out just in case if I needed to use the bolt. Right here we have Matco, which I feel like are rebranded Sunex. They feel exactly like the half-inch drive Sunex E-Torx and Torx. Really like this e-torque set, works real nice. Just take it out, do your tranny job or your axle or your, any driveline thing with e-torques or differential, stuff like that. In the front end, really, really like that set. Use it all the time. Here we have a 1/4 inch to 3/8 snap-on adapter. It is good to have this. Not always are you gonna feel like you need to borrow someone's, but in certain applications, has its place. Recommended for BMWs, that's for sure. Here we have that 3/8 impact swivel that I don't really recommend because it always binds up. It's bulky, it's big. Unlike the 1/4 inch from Snap-on, I would go with something else. Mac looks like they make a pretty good one, but I don't know because they don't have a Pittsburgh wobbly thing. You couldn't even call that a universal joint. That is destroyed. We have Husky bits that came with this set. Not the greatest, but I have them because there's nothing else to replace it. Here we have a Mac 5mm long, useful because this 5mm in the Husky set rounds stuff off. And I have a Cornwell short T30. It's shorter than the Snap-on, and I have another T30 or T27, I think actually. No, T30. I have a second, just because I found it. So this set is very nice. It goes 8 to 19, 21, and 24 3/8. Yeah, 24 3/8. Crazy. This is very nice. The 21 for front end. The bushings on the 5 Series, F30, F10, stuff like that. You're gonna find a 21mm, and the reach is kind of hard sometimes with the 1/2 inch. So 3/8 is very nice to have. This is like my prize socket set. Really cool. Got it used. Wouldn't recommend them new because they're so expensive. You could buy so many tools with that. But got them used for a good price. And with the shallow set, I have my Icon 7mm. The Icon shallows came with the 7mm, so I have that here because it doesn't fit in the tray. Below we have 1/4 inch impact extensions. That's the other ones on the Bower because the ring needs to be replaced. Snap-on. I love trays. Really keeps the extensions nice. We have a bunch of Pittsburgh 3/8 extensions here. A bunch of 1/4 inch drive, SK, Matco, and Pittsburgh. I want to get the Icon set because it comes in the tray. It has everything I need. Has a couple different extensions I don't have yet. Here we have the V410 filter cup that you're going to need for 327 filters. You're going to need this for 300 filters. You're going to need these two, one for mini and one for the other type of filter that we find on the new cars. It's not 312, but it's another one. 312 is 20, no, actually it's this one. All right, so here we have my ratchets for 3/8 and 1/4 inch. My go-to for 1/4 inch is this Icon. At first, I bought this thing thinking I would use it, never used it. Always was using the Pittsburgh Pro, and then I switched over to this one because I really wanted to try it out, and I've been hooked ever since. The feel is just phenomenal. Same thing with this. This is kind of the go-to 3/8. Can't use it on everything, but on everything that you want to get started and snug down, it's really great. Or anything small, even spark plugs. I did a whole set of spark plugs with these. They were in there, and I really, had to pop them, but I wanted to test this thing out because it was the first Icon tool I ever purchased. Recommend that a lot. It's a lot more solid than the Pittsburgh alternatives. I got Pittsburgh SK. This thing binds up. Don't really use it all the time. We got SK palm ratchets. You don't need palm ratchets. I'm just saying that. Some people may disagree with me, and I know a guy here at the shop really likes his palm ratchet. You can like a palm ratchet, but these are almost useless. I use them sometimes, but you really don't need them. You could just use a ratchet. Here we have a Blue Point oxygen sensor kit. These are Maddox, by the way, from Harbor Freight. I recommend the set, 27, 32, 36. Williams. This is an interesting one. It's like a bar. You can move it. It's like a T-handle. It does come in handy. I've used it multiple times. I recommend getting something stupid like this. You may not use it for many months, and then you use it one day, and it's worth it. So that's what I believe. Here we have Pittsburgh shallow 12-point and
deep 6-point fractional 3/8 set. Don't have any fractional things, so they're right here for now. It kind of divides my ratchets very nicely. It keeps these extensions from rolling everywhere. It works. Here we have 2 Icon 1/2-inch ratchets. Really recommend these 1/2-inch ratchets. They look nice, they feel nice, and they're so much cheaper than Snap-ons. They may not be as good, you know, in reality, and they may not have Snap-on on it, but I would say you're not going to feel really much of a difference. We got all Pittsburgh wobble and impact extensions. We have my impact driver brand. 33 mil Autocraft. Don't know when I'm going to use this, but I have it. T60, you need this if you're a BMW mechanic, because on E90s, E60s, 1 Series, stuff like that, you're going to find the front drive belt is held in with the, you're going to have to take the tensioner with the T60. And I would recommend a 3/8 drive, because on the twin turbos you can't really get in with this one. So I'd recommend 3/8 drive if you can find it. It's kind of more special too, but it's worth it. You need the socket, so you gotta buy it. There's a few sockets that you need, like this, E10, you know, random things. Here we have a Williams set of 1/2-inch drive, shallow chromes, 12-point. I've used them a couple times because I don't have a metric set of chromes where you need to get in that tighter spot. We have the rest of the Pittsburgh 1/2-inch drive set. It's kind of useless. I think it's 11, 12, 13. Don't really use them all that much. I found myself not needing it because a 3/8 is just fine. We have Husky. This actually does come in handy. I forget what it is. It may be a tool. It may be on a BMW or something common that like aftermarket solution that we find that does use these Husky fractionals, Allens. Here we have SKs. I bought these for $1 each in some random bin. SK deeps with their fractional, and we have SK 1/4-inch bits. So that's the socket drawer. I really like my socket drawer. Got more to do, of course, but it looks nice. It's very functional, and that's her. Down the line. All right. This is not the most organized in the world that it's been, but this is my screwdriver drawer. There is another one. We'll get to that later. So, bottom right corner, we have a couple Snap-on. I mean, they're not really Snap-on, they're just some random Chinese brand. Pocket screwdriver, another type of small screwdriver, another small Phillips, Snap-on tire, valve stem tool. This is the nicest on the market. I love this handle, hard handle. This is the best on the market. Don't go with anything else if you can get that. Here we have the Snap-on stubbies. They're real cute. I like those, I use them. Here we have the Pittsburgh 99-cent set of picks for a set of picks. This is actually not bent like this on purpose. I did bend this on purpose as a special tool for X5s. They have the E53 X5s. When doing door panel work, you have to take off this certain clip, and this fits perfectly where that clip is. Originally, when I started working on them, it was like weird, like I couldn't figure out how to do that clip very well, and once I bought this pick set, I just bent that thing to shit and decided to use that as a special tool. Right here, so this is what I'm getting at with Icon. Some things are personal preference, and some things are mechanically flawed. You know, they should be. So there's 2 parts to this pick set that I don't like. Originally, I liked them, but I already knew that it was going to be an issue because I am a hard handle type guy, and this has composite type material with rubber. The rubber is very hard, I will say. It's the nicest feeling rubber I've ever felt. Better than a lot of the Snap-on rubber, but it's rubber, and that's not meant for a pick, in my opinion, I like this handle better. You know, and that's saying something. But the pick is much stronger than these picks. These things are floppy as hell, but they're not strong enough. After using them for a long time, at first they were really great. They have this nice tray, it looks nice, but the tip on this is ever so slightly bent. Tip on this is ever so slightly bent. Tip on this is ever so slightly bent. They work fine. They're infinitely better than this. Definitely worth the $15, I think it is, for that set. But they don't look pretty. They look older than these. You know what I mean? Like, they look abused more than those. And I don't even really clean these that much. I like hard handle, so I'm gonna be buying hard handle snap-ons because it's just what I need to do. They're slightly better steel quality, better build quality. That's the way to go. If I would say you work on cars every day, buy the snap-on hard handle picks. Just do it. Don't even be like me and say, oh, it's only $15. Might as well upgrade from these. Yeah, but the snap-ons aren't much more than the 15, and you can find them used. There's the snap-on that are kind of like this. I wouldn't go with that because it's rubber, like the picks. All right, moving on over. Here we have my sad mirror, which broke a couple days ago. Haven't replaced it. I love this mirror so much. I want to find another one. That brand. I forgot what brand it is. It says Alman. Then we have a Harbor Freight one. We have a Harbor Freight punch. This thing, or whatever this is called, but it's like an automatic punch. It's okay. It's definitely not the sharpest in the book. Wouldn't recommend the upgrade, but if you only do stuff very, very occasionally where you're going to need that, might as well just spend I think it's like $2 or $3 for it. So it's worth it, I would say. All right, moving on up, we have my pry bars. These are the only pry bars I own. They're from the same generation of Snap-on, but here are kind of the more abused ones and the non-demo versions. I'm missing 2 out of the set, or 1 out of the set. I can't think right now. 1 out of the set, actually. But the thing I like about this is shorter. They're shorter than the other set. So you can get into certain spots that you couldn't get into with the other ones. But this, prized in the screwdrivers, these are my prized possessions. They're very nice, rarely used. I don't like using them because they're so pretty and you can't replace them because they're discontinued. You can only replace them with the new ones, which are bulkier and don't look as nice. But I love them. I love how they're both black. I love black screwdrivers and stuff. All right, on over we have the Mac long screwdrivers. We have the really long, which are the thicker ones, and then the smaller ones are the skinny. This handle is really nice. The best handle Mac makes for sure. Competing with the Snap-on handle from this era, kind of like this, but they're not as good. The small ones are pretty flimsy. They're pretty flimsy. They're not the most sturdy things in the world, but they definitely do their job with what they do. Up here we just have Pittsburgh and miscellaneous panel tools, nothing special. Here we have, again, same flaw with the handle. They just feel and look dirty. I love the tray. I love the tips. Haven't had any issues with these tips. They're very great, but hard handle. If Icon made hard handle, I would try their screwdrivers. I wouldn't go with picks. I'd go with Snap-on picks all day. But again, if you like these soft grip, go for it because the bits are great. Over here I have 2 awls, just useful for miscellaneous aligning things. There's nothing really specialty in here for BMW. This is one thing, but not really specialty. Here we have Husky screwdrivers. I had these forever. My aunt gave them to me. They work. I want to upgrade my screwdrivers at some point, but there's so many things to think about. Here we have probably the most useful thing in this drawer is this panel tool for BMWs. I don't know about other cars, but this exact panel tool is the perfect shape for way more than just panel tools. This is a multifunctional screwdriver. It's actually crazy. The thing is strong as all heck. You can use it as a pry bar if you want to, and for small pry options that I use it for. I wish it was hard handle because I wouldn't even think about ever replacing it, but I don't think there is another option out there. The old hard handles are a different shape in the head, and this exact shape in the head is, and this length is perfect. This is a perfect tool. Bought this a long time ago as one of the first tools I bought. Very, very happy that I bought this tool. One of the best for sure. I use it every single day, multiple times on almost every single job. No matter if there's a panel tool or a clip or not, you use it. Here we have something that you're gonna need. I do need a long one, and I need ones that don't have this 1/4-inch drive, because sometimes if you're in a small area and you take out the tool, the socket falls off. But this is very flexible. So in certain applications, you kind of need the really flexible version. It's used for like hose clamps and other things that are kind of just hand tight, snap on. I really love the handle. It's black. Craftsman, just 1/4-inch straight. Never use this thing, but I have it. Here we have my snap-on oldies set. These are like the best screwdrivers known to man. Everyone loves these things. They're so wanted. If I could get a blue set, I don't even want to talk about it. But I have some screwdrivers in that set, and I have a scraper. Gotta get more though. Replace the Huskies for the snap-ons. So that's the screwdriver drawer. All right, down to, as I said before, like I was like, I don't know if this is my favorite drawer or not, but I love that drawer. I love both of the screwdriver drawers when they're open, and then I love my wrench drawer. I think I like Icon wrenches. So we've got Icon standard wrenches, not the slip ones. 8 to 24, no skips. That's very nice. Very nice to have 8 through 24, 0 skips. There's not one bad thing I would say about this wrench set. They're cheap, they are really nice in the case, and you can go all the way up to 24. I'd recommend them all day. Again, Icon wrenches I think are their most strong thing. I want to get, every time I go in that store, it's really borderline on wrenches. Like, I love the wrenches. Here we have the long double end, slight offset, like the head goes out. These are really useful. I want the straight ones too, but these are a lot more money. They're ratcheting stuff, and they like up the price on these, I believe. Use these things all the time. They go 8, 10, they skip 11, sadly, and they go 12, 14, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. I really recommend that set if you can afford it. Here we have a really cheap set. I think it's $50. 10 through 19, no skips. I wish I had 8 on the stubby. Use these all the time, especially the 11 for and the 17. I forget what the 17 is for exactly, but I do use that a lot, and sometimes the 19. I use the 11 for brake caliper bleeder. It's better than using a standard wrench size. Then we have my first set of wrenches, SK. I love SK, the green, and the way that the wrenches look. But now I'm an Icon boy. These are the semis, like the medium, not short, not normal. These are kind of medium. Very good to have, all three. Here we have some non-branded stubby ratcheting in metric. And then we have my fractional SKs. I bought a guy who works here. These actually do come in handy very often. You can use a 1/2 inch for 13 basically. And I have some miscellaneous wrenches over here for like die grinders, a Heiko, which is factory BMW, another BMW one. Small Craftsman. These are actually in this set, but they're Craftsman for fractional. I like them. Gotta get more wrenches, but this drawer is basically full, so. Moving on down, we have my sad plier drawer. It's all right. Definitely has some work to do. I bought some stuff a couple weeks ago, and I didn't really have any other place to put my magnets and my stethoscope, so they just kind of chill here because it makes the most sense. This is basically a tool that you need for BMWs. Something where you can get at it and maneuver it, whichever type of tool you want to get, like an aluminum one or a spring one. But you want one that you can move and it stays there. I have this one from Harbor Freight that works pretty well that I bought before that really small one, but you need that small one too. Stethoscope, very, very useful. That's Harbor Freight, works fine. You don't need to buy anything expensive for a stethoscope. It's just a metal rod going into your ears. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. All right, let's start on the end. Here we have a channel lock, and then we have the Doyle channel locks. Doyle, much better than the standard channel locks, but as we all know, Knipex is much better than any other type because of this design. These are really rusted. Got them a while ago. I need to like blast them off or something, but they work fine. They just look terrible. But I got them for basically free, so why not? I recommend the Doyles. Doyle line in general is pretty good, pretty solid, but not like Knipex or Snap-on quality. Here we have channel locks. These dikes, the thing slips down. I hate that. It really kind of sucks when it does. I have some linesman pliers. I use these a couple times. A lot of these pliers I've just had, so it didn't really cost me anything. Doyle crimpers and cutters at the end. I use these things a lot. They're my only crimpers, really. Here's a Craftsman, Sears Craftsman, or Craftsman, doesn't say Sears. Slip jaw plier. They're okay. Again, my plier selection is kind of all over the place. Here's some Doyle strippers. I really like these strippers, but they're definitely not the best in the game. I would say for the money, it's worth it. And if you're doing wiring every so often, but I'm doing wiring a good amount of time, so I do want to upgrade those at some point. Here we have Doyle bolt cutters, or very small bolt cutters, and I kind of thought that the opening on this would be a lot bigger. So this is kind of mainly for like wire, or like, you know, really small stuff. So I haven't used those much, but I did use them once and they worked great. Or like I needed to use them once. I've used them more than once though. All right, here are the famed Pittsburgh pliers, needle nose. I mean, the needle nose are probably your safest bet on the Pittsburgh line, but they're nothing great. I just didn't have them, so I was there. It only adds a couple bucks to the list. Here we have the Doyle set of small pliers. They work well. I use them all the time. I use them almost every single day. Here's a Sears slip jaw. Just picked that up for basically free. Nice to have different pliers. You know how it is. Here's the exhaust hanger tool that you're gonna want. I believe Lyle makes it or something, made in USA. Buy it off of basically every tool truck. They'll have them. Stick them in the exhaust hanger, pops them off. Sometimes you have to use a pry bar because you don't have enough torque on it, but it works nice. You need it. You do need it. Here we have a wire tool from Harbor Freight. The wire is over here. You spin it out. This whole thing spins, and it ties the wire up tight. Here we have a Heiko BMW slip jaw plier, or not slip jaw, channel lock thing, or whatever these things are. Maybe this, yeah. And it's really tiny, but it's not really the greatest. Here we have some Stanley, other type of pliers that I've just had those since I was a kid, and I don't have anything to replace it, so they stay in here. Here was the Mac tool deal for vice grips. They're actual vice grips. I mean, they're made by the same company basically, so they're all owned. Works nice. Nothing really special. They're not those crazy ones nowadays that the vice grips are, but it was like $100 for the set. Can't beat it. You got almost all the vice grips you need. Here we have some C clamps. Never know. Brake line cutter, and we have a fuse grabber. I mainly use these Doyles, but sometimes it's nice to have those. Pair of tweezers. That's the plier drawer. Organization in here is fine for now, but even if I buy another couple pliers, we're gonna have to completely reorganize or get new, actual organizers. So that'll be interesting to see. Alrighty, look at this. So we have up here the Pittsburgh metric big wrench set. You actually do need one of these for, I believe it's a 50 millimeter for axle, not axle, well, to get to the axles, yeah, but the newer cars, I think it's like F10s and stuff, they have this nut on the pinion area where the drive shaft goes into. And it's really nice to have the open end wrench because there's a special tool, but you can't, it's kind of like a locking tool. You do one rotation, you have to take off the pins, you have to go back. It takes absolutely forever to take the stupid thing off versus if you have this wrench set. I bought this wrench set just for that because I didn't have it and it sucks. So next time I do it, even if I have to grind it down, it's completely worth it. I don't know if I have to grind it down yet because I haven't done that job yet. Again, after I bought these, but you do need that 50 millimeter Pittsburgh or any other. It's a really good set. It's only $60 and you get a crap ton of big wrenches that cost hundreds everywhere else. All right, here we have my Mac / Snap-on. It's basically the same exact set, but this is a Mac brand tap and die set with drill bits. The drill bits are actually pretty cool. They were pretty nice and they warranty them. I'm missing a few things here and there, but I got this used. It works real nice. You gotta have a tap set. I would go with the higher quality one if you can, especially used options. And you can buy bits and stuff, or taps. Here we have the Mac, which is basically the Snap-on set of the kind of chaser. I have another tap in here. Chaser set, it's nice. You don't really cut when using this. It's kind of just a cleaning tool. Bought those together. In here, I have a bunch of vacuum caps or coolant stoppers, ATF stoppers. You gotta have your assortment of these. You can find all this stuff is basically free tools. Just keep them. When you get a part that has one on it, just put it in a box and you'll need it a lot. So, well, if you want to be clean, you'll need it. If you don't want to be clean, you won't need it. Here we have Pittsburgh 2-pound slide hammer. This thing is very nice to use on F10 V8s, fuel injectors. You grind out a little bit and you pop them on. It's kind of the only way to take them off without maybe a specialty tool that's supposed to do the job, but they're very difficult to do. F10 V8s suck. So that's what this is for. You can use this to drive out a lot of things like rear, seals, rear pilot bearings. You can use it on a lot, and it's so cheap. You need this set. If you don't want to buy a Snap-on or anything like that, get this Pittsburgh one. It's so worth it. I've used this on so many things. Once you have the tool, you'll find the use for it, even if you don't think that you're going to need it. One of my most recent purchases is this Icon 1/2-inch drive torque wrench. What a gorgeous piece of machinery. It winds up so nicely. The collar and the grip, the lettering, the case. Oh my gosh, so worth the 160 whatever it was for it. It's nice to have an accurate torque wrench. I gotta get 3/8 and 1/4 inch, but they don't make a 1/4 inch yet, so that's why I was skeptical on buying a 1/2 inch one, because I want it to match. I want to have all icon torque wrenches. It's nice, subframe or like anything crazy. It's nice if you have the torque spec, just torque it. Really recommend that. All right, this drawer is kind of a mess. It is what it is. Down here we have some brushes, wire brushes, nylon brushes, brass brush. We have the Ames, which is from Harbor Freight, kind of inspection camera, borescope thing. I had to buy that because I was doing a rethread on the spark plug, or doing a Healy coil type deal in my friend's car, and I was like, I need to make sure that I get as much of the crud out of there as possible when we you know, all the aluminum from the block is just falling into the cylinder. Here we have a 1/4 inch Milwaukee fuel impact. I really like the idea of this thing. I love it. And it was so funny because this thing was warranted by my friend that works here. And he sold it to me. He didn't even open the box yet. He gave it to me. And the snap ring just sucked. It was so limp. And then I got it replaced, and then that one is so limp. So I have really bad on snap rings, the extensions, and this. So I never use this thing. It's my only electrical tool. I don't even have a battery for it, or like, you know, a battery-powered electrical tool. So we got Bauer grinding discs and cutting discs. You got the Bauer. It's basically the cheapest one you can get. 7 amp, 1100 RPM. That number. This thing is amazing. Just used it for the first time today. This one I've been borrowing from my friends, but he, you know, I've wanted this for a while. I think it's badass. Bauer line is really nice looking. The box works well. It looks cool, and it should last pretty well. Supposedly he was using it for like 6 hours straight one day, and it didn't blow up. So I would say it's worth it. It's only $30 for that stupid thing. Not even on sale. Here's a Mac Tools coolant temperature tester. We have a bunch of clutch alignment things. You never know when you're going to need them, because sometimes the kits don't come with them. I've needed it multiple times, like on my 8 series, I needed them. So I keep them in that bin. Here's my very sad drill section. I only have step bits, one other bit, apart from what's in the tap and die set. And another fractional, bought that off Snap-on, thread pitch thing. Some keys that goes in there. Then we have kind of miscellaneous over here. Here's the oil funnel, adapters, chain, engraver, very nice. Some extractors that don't really work for anything. Scrapers, some miscellaneous punches and bits and chisels and random things that you can use, supplies, lug bolts, tow hook, wire brush, level. I don't have a good spot for them, so I'll put it in this box. That's kind of where all the mayhem lies, is in this box. I have chargers in there. I just don't really have any other spot that I feel like I want to put them, so it goes in there. Moving on over to the right. This is my air tool drawer. I only have 4 air tools, but I try and, you know, be kind of picky with them. So we've got 1/2 inch drive, Snap-on. I love the underneath of tools. 95 anniversary. 1/2 inch. This thing is a monster. I had the Husky. It's kind of an older Husky one. It's not the current current 1/2-inch gun. The Husky one, oh my gosh, probably the same power as this stupid thing. And this thing costs like $500 brand new. Crazy. Here we have a 3/8 one. I love this gun. It's so good. And I love the color. I don't know if you can tell, but what the heck? It's stuck on there. It's like sparkly. It has like gold on it. It's a really cool looking gun. I would recommend these guns. There's other options out there, so this is what I have. You don't have to buy Snap-on though. This is a Chief from Harbor Freight. Works really well. I was thinking of getting the more heavy duty one, but you know, getting in certain spots, die grinder, it's nice to have a small one. And then the Snap-on air hammer. Got all these used, by the way, except for the Chief. Bought the Chief brand new. It was like $30. This thing rips. We've got just not worth the money brand new though. It's like $500 for like each one of these items. It's almost $500. Sonex, got these for free. Air hammer bits. They're not that great, but for most things, you'll be okay. It's enough to get by. That's the thing, is if you can pick up something, it's enough to get by until you buy an actual, like, really expensive thing that'll last you forever. It's worth it. I don't think I'm gonna ever have to upgrade this die grinder. I had a central pneumatic die grinder that a guy from work gave to me. I was like joking around, and I was like, all right, let's see this thing at full max. And I fully like, you know, held the trigger, and the thing completely disintegrated. The thing, oh, that was so funny. I was literally on purposely trying to destroy it, and it did destroy itself. Couldn't believe it. Here we have my second screwdriver drawer, so when this is all open, it looks like that, which I do like. But here we have some miscellaneous long screwdrivers, Craftsman, unbranded, and some other pick options. We have some gear wrench picks. This is a really cheap set, but they're slightly different than the Snap-on ones. You gotta have a bunch of different types of picks. These Snap-on ones are real nice. If they were hard handle, I love them even more, but I don't think they make them. It looks nice. It matches. Fits in the drawer perfectly. Glad I got this set used. Another thing that probably costs a lot. You knew, so. You use the longs a lot, and I didn't have longs for a long time. No pun intended, but the gear wrenchers were going, and then I saw this used, had to pick it up, couldn't pass it by. This is my second wrench drawer, so it's the retail space of my wrenches. There's not much in here, of course, but we have some aftermarket shock adjusters in there. And same thing with this, that's what those are for. We have this Snap-on 4-piece adjustable wrench set. These are baller. I don't see many people with the hard handle. I see people with the soft handle, and it's just cringy. I really don't like soft handle. I was lucky I found these 4. This one's been kind of beat, but bottom used, of course. We got some space, but it's all kind of like dead space. I don't know if this fits in that way. I don't think it does, because I would have put it in that way. Might have to take out the tray at some point to fit more wrenches in here. If I buy another Icon set, that's where it's going to go. Here's the hammers. Most recent purchase was this brass one. This is actually a really good hammer. Holds up pretty nice. My friend has had one for a while now. The brass here is like solid brass, unlike this other one that the shop has. It kind of like sends shards at you. It things beat, but this works real nice for certain applications that you need a brass hammer. We've got a plastic one from Harbor Freight that has like the screw-ons. Here's the 2 other options that you've got. Metal side, plastic side. It's kind of cool. A really tiny ball peen. It's not very useful. We got kind of a bigger sledge. 4-pound Pittsburgh. used to take off the wheels. 2 pound, I believe. What is it? 1 pound. Pittsburgh. This thing is great. I use these two all the time. I also use this one all the time, the mini sledge. And this one I use the most. This kind of medium-sized ball peen, unbranded. I like my hammer selection. Needs some work, but it's very solid. This is kind of what you need. You need a brass hammer, and I was locking on one for a while, so I'd say these hammers, kind of all you need for most applications. Alright, so the last drawer is kind of confusing. Just be aware when I open it. If you're gonna laugh, you can laugh. Yeah, this isn't necessarily laughable, but Icon, or maybe it is to some people, Icon snap ring set. I was a little surprised at these, that they were completely unbranded on the actual tool. And then they don't go to mini size. They're kind of just the standard medium size. So I can't do a lot of things with this set, but I love the case. I like the Icon red, and the tools are actually really nice. But yes, I do keep Harbor Freight step stool in here because I want to keep it clean. I don't want anyone to use it. She stays in the box. That is not moving. I don't care how much stuff I have in my box, that is staying there. As long as I have a drawer to fit it, it's gonna fit. If I find another spot for it, that'll be cool, but. So this is the workbench. I have my meth tools, 10 piece, or not 10 piece, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 piece. It was like $120 for all those magnets. Nice. Got my O'Reilly's one. This is a good style. I've got what came on the side of the US General cart is this chemical tray. I just mounted this up. I have kind of the common chemicals up there. They have rags up top. Got another fan on top of the common. I've got 8 mils in here, 10 mil plastics, clips. All in that hardware section, just easy to use. This workbench is really nice. I want to upgrade the vise though. This is a central forge. Really doesn't work very well. Another reason why this cart is specifically here, not just because I don't use it, but also because it keeps this area occupied so I can use this vise and completely take out the cart and have all that workspace. It's nice. In reality, this is kind of all I need for a bench, but if I could elevate this cabinet at some point to have that square footage, would be very cool. The only thing is I use this cabinet for all my magnet stuff and my flashlight and for my fender covers that I can't really move it anywhere else. Like this kind of perfect height, unless I find, say if I moved all my chemicals to racks like this or something, and then the cabinet would completely disappear, which is kind of what I would want to do, or put it underneath the bench, which there's nothing special under there to see. So I do have a Hazard fender cover, which I really like, magnetic. Moving on down from my workbench, we do have 2 roll carts, US General and a Mac plastic roll cart. So the reason why I have 2 is because I was using this. This was my first box, it's a roll cart, that I used and had all my tools in and stuff like that. But the shop environment isn't very open, or how we have the shop set up. So this thing is kind of difficult to move it around, especially since I don't have 4 swivel casters on it. So it's not the best to move around. I wanted to get a smaller cart. I didn't really ever use this as a cart, and I never kept any tools in here when I bought my box. After that, there's been no tools in here, only hardware. So I am looking to get rid of this at some point and move all the hardware into the box. But this roll cart is what I use. I bought it a couple weeks ago. My friend has one, really nice. I want to do a more in-depth review on this, but this is the roll cart that I use. It has a drawer. And
and that's nice. These are definitely more useful for dealerships where you can actually move it around. Places where your floor may not be perfect, but it's not going to have a bunch of bumps in it, and you won't have to go over lips because this thing has no suspension to it, you know. All right, let's take a peek inside. As I said before, it is hardware, so I'm not going to go into detail on it, but here's how I have it set up. Wow, there's nothing. That's just the top part. We've got my hardware for my 8 series. These are some active things I'm keeping or working on or using. And then right here, I have 2 boxes, and then I have miscellaneous bigger bolts, exhaust hangers for my 8 series, copper nuts, Scotch-Brite. And we have some organizers. Really need a lot of organizers. Need to purchase a lot. We've got factory hardware here, 10 mil, 13 mil, 13 mil, 16, 16. This is nice to have because you don't want to have just one shiny bolt, you know. And if you can get the right bolt for the job, I like having the factory stuff. You got brick stuff, bigger bolts, caliper pins, caliper brackets. We got 7 mil studs, whole bunch of specialty stuff. This can be used for the 8 series, I believe. Gas cap, crank sensor, axle nuts, hose clamp, clips, mini hose clamp, a bunch of miscellaneous things. So this box, when I got it, had this huge dent in it. I don't know if you can tell. So the thing would not shut. That's why I had tape over here. Just recently I bought magnets and did the magnet trick for this. And now I can actually open this up. I've got fuses in here, light bulbs. This is mainly like for my own stuff. If I don't feel like purchasing a bulb or something or a relay, because you don't really ever put that in a customer's car. So some hoses, a lot of random, this used to have all of my hardware, but I just recently purchased another hardware bin where I put a lot of the common stuff in. It's good to have a good hardware selection. And underneath, I do have bigger things and a bunch of unorganized hardware. That there was a drawer here on the old Workbench that there were 2 drawers full of miscellaneous hardware, and I've just been whittling those down. And at some point, go through everything and really find its home. Apart from the 8 series up there, the Calypso Red, that's all there is to really see in my setup. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I know that I had fun making it, and to show you guys what I got. You know, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I feel pretty proud of how far I've gone and my growth and being able to buy my dream car. And though I may not be able to drive it for a while, we're doing some cool stuff with it. Hope to see you stick around for that, because that's really what the point of this channel is for. But we'll see what everyone likes, and make sure to, you know, pursue your dreams in cars. You know, don't leave the E39 M5 under the tree forever. You know, bring her back to life. We need to see that in the world. You know, we love the passion. When we see another car out there that we like, give it a thumbs up. You know that person really has something special in their heart. So have a great one, and hope you enjoyed.